The sky roared with thunder. Rain fell like tears from the sky. In the deep dark forest, 4 young men were digging quietly. Mud covered their legs, and the air smelled of wet earth. Suddenly, lightning lit the sky, showing a human foot sticking out of the ground. The youngest, Emeka, was tied up and had a cloth over his mouth. His eyes were wide with fear. He shook his head hard, trying to cry out, but only soft sounds came. Shindu, the leader, stood tall. His gold chain shone in the rain. He lifted a knife. For a moment, everything stopped. Then, thunder crashed again. And the forest drank blood. The village square was full of life and laughter. Men played draft under a big mango tree. Dust rose each time they slapped the board. Emeka, thin but strong, walked by carrying a sack of cassava. Sweat covered his face, but he smiled. "Emeka, you have changed," Shindu shouted, leaning on a shiny motorbike. Emeka smiled back. "Life is hard, brother. Stop farming. Come to Lagos with me. You will get rich," said Shindu, his clothes too fancy for the village. Temptation came in a gold chain. At the village bar, the smell of sweat and cheap gin filled the air. Shindu sat with 2 men, Femi, who looked nervous, and Bode, quiet and big. "Emeka, come join us," Shindu called, pushing a bottle to him. They clinked the glasses. "We do online business," Shindu said with a smile. "Smart work. Easy money. Yahoo?" Emeka asked carefully. Shindu laughed. "Forget that name. This is better hustle." Bode leaned in. "1 trip, 1 night. You will make more money than your father's farm in a year." Emeka laughed, but inside, he felt worried. That night, smoke rose from Mama Emeka's clay stove. She stirred her small pot and softly sang a hymn. "My son," she said with a tired voice, "I heard Shindu has come back." "Yes, Mama." She looked into his eyes. "Be careful. People may shine on the outside but rot inside. Quick money brings tears." Emeka nodded, but the dream of Lagos lights burned in his heart. The old bus growled as it entered the city. Emeka pressed his face to the window, amazed by tall buildings, bright lights, and many cars moving fast. Lagos was alive. The noise, the lights, the rush, everything amazed him. Beside him, Shindu smiled. "Welcome to the land of money." But Lagos was also dangerous. The gang's apartment was in a tall building. Loud music shook the walls. Girls laughed in the living room. Bottles of expensive drinks covered the table. Shindu clapped Emeka's shoulder. "This is life." Femi smiled weakly, his eyes always moving around. Bode sat alone, watching Emeka silently. Emeka couldn't help but smile. For the first time, he felt rich just standing there. Late one night, Emeka woke to a strange sound. Low chanting came from Shinaju's room. Curious, he peeked through a slightly open door. Inside, he saw red cloths, bowls, and strange marks on the floor. His heart beat fast with fear. He quietly pulled away. In another room, Shindu spoke quietly with Femi and Bode. "Baba Kura says we need fresh blood. Emeka is the sacrifice." Femi was shocked. "But he is your village brother." Shinaju's eyes turned cold. "So, for money, blood has no family." Bode nodded silently. The next day, Emeka enjoyed Lagos, but worry followed him. He saw Bode looking at him too many times. Femi smiled fake smiles. At night, Emeka knelt by his bed and prayed, whispering his mother's hymn. But in the same house, Shindu sharpened his knife. "Tonight, You come with us for business, Shindu said. They got into a fancy car and drove out of the city. The lights faded. The road got dark. Emeka frowned. This place no look like business. Shindu smiled cold. It is. Just stay quiet. The car stopped on a lonely forest path. Emeka's chest was tight. No houses, no people. Only frogs croaking and trees whispering. Where are we? He asked, voice shaking. Bo did not answer. Femi avoided his eyes. The night smelled dangerous. Torches flickered in a clearing. A man appeared with white face paint and a deep voice. Baba Kura. Bring him, the priest said. Emeka stepped back. Shindu, what is this? Shinaju's smile was gone. I told you, one night and you'll make more money than your father's farm. Bode and Femi grabbed Emeka. They tied Emeka down. He fought and cried. Shindu, I am your brother. Why? Shindu looked cold. Blood is the price. Money is the reward. Baba Kura raised his staff. Drums started. Thunder rumbled. Shindu raised his knife. The torchlight flickered on the blade. Emeka screamed, but then, suddenly, Femi pushed Bode away. Run! Femi shouted, cutting Emeka's ropes. Emeka jumped up and ran into the forest. His heart beat fast. Branches hit his face. Roots caught his feet, but he kept running. Behind him, Shindu shouted, catch him. The forest was alive with voices and footsteps. Emeka gasped for air, fear giving him more speed. Heavy footsteps followed him. Femi shouted to confuse the chasers, giving Emeka more time. Rain started again, hiding his tracks. Far away, Mama Emeka knelt beside her bed, praying with tears. God, keep my son safe. Don't let evil take him. Her candle flickered. The wind shook the window, as if God heard her prayer. Emeka fell into a wild river. The water was cold and fast. He held onto a fallen log as the river carried him away. When he reached the bank, he was alive but trembling. At sunrise, Emeka dragged himself to the village police station. Mud covered him, and he was bleeding. Help, they want to kill me, he said weakly. The officers took him inside, shocked. With Emeka's help, police raided the forest shrine. Baba Kura shouted strange words, but guns stopped the magic. Bode fought fiercely but was caught. Shindu tried to run but was caught in chains. The secret was out. The whole village came to hear the news. Mothers cried. Elders shook their heads sadly. Shindu, once proud, stood with hands cuffed and empty eyes. Femi said nothing. The next Sunday, Mama Emeka cried at church, raising her hands to God. Thank you for saving my son. The pastor said, not all paths bring life. Some lead to destruction. Emeka sat quietly, with scars on his body and his heart. News spread fast. People talked about Shinaju's fall. Some still wanted his quick money, but most shook their heads. What is wealth if it needs blood? What is gain if it costs a soul? Emeka walked the village paths again, changed forever. His sack of cassava felt heavier but he carried it proudly. He had seen Lagos lights, and Lagos darkness. Not every invitation is from God. Some roads are covered with gold, but end in blood. The night the forest drank blood taught one lesson. Greed kills, but prayer saves.